Nine Souls. Why do I keep starting with the game name? That is annoying. But how else do you intro this? Man, I like cold intros. You just come in cold and they're like, what the fuck is all this? What's all this magic down here? What's going on? Then you got Nine Souls coming in. It's like, hey, no you, all right? I know you thinking something. It's not. So, it's its own thing. Enjoy the game. I think that to have Dark Souls be this overbearing figure on games has both made games better but also made them like worse, because you're like, nah, see, this sucks. Have you played Dark Souls? Try that. Nine Souls doesn't have that problem because it's like the Sekiro of the 2D style metroidvanias, because you have to be the parry master to beat this game. You have to really have an understanding of the rock paper scissors mechanics and what beats what and how you got to do it to layer it to, like, certain moves you'd have to set up to like be hit in a certain way so you can then use the proper parry, and then it becomes a rhythm game at that point. That was not the worst thing, because there weren't that many bosses that were really taking advantage of that kind of situation. I think that there was just a problem with the depth of the combat, because there's really only three options. There's the talisman, the arrow, and your own strikes, whatever you want to call those. Yeah, sword. And with the trinket system being a little bit sparse to change any of that too much, now it makes certain things better and certain things worse. That's fine. Simplicity of the system also plays into the ability to replay the game. So I find myself not wanting to replay because there's plenty I already did. I've mastered what I feel like I should have to beat the final boss, which was a fun final boss. I mean, not everything has to have multiple health bars, all right? Miyazaki, you've ruined another game. Not just kidding. But at some point, you know, like, all right, there's no way this is just a single health bar boss. Like, once you got past the flying dream lady, she you were getting two health bars per for sure, which is not the worst thing. But again, your first time it happened to us in whatever games back in those days. I'm sure there's one in Dark Souls, but I feel like the one that stands out the most to me is the Guardian Ape in Sekiro, if we're staying in that, where it just is like, you know what, I'm still alive. You're like, what? But the game trolls you a little bit. I like that. That's when you're having fun with it. But once it's just like, yeah, that's just phase one, no doubt about it, it becomes the standard rather than the exception. And so these final bosses were significantly harder than the rest of the game, and deserved the time it took to beat them. It took me like 2 hours to beat that final boss, but I think it was fun. So that being said, the game is over. When you beat it, it feels like a book that's got a pretty healthy sized ending, and you're done. You don't have to, oh, let's play it a different way or go back and try to get this or that. It doesn't feel that way. It feels nice and tight and done. Like, I don't have to feel like I missed something, and that in itself makes me like it more, where it's just, you closed the book, everything felt right, we're done. I would like more games like this, and as a game that's supposed to kind of hold me over until Silksong comes out, this is just fine. Like, another chunk out of the, because I rushed through it a little bit. At some point, books, if I like them, I'm flying through them at a pace that is too fast to really enjoy. No, that's not true. I enjoy it, so it's my pace. I ate this game up like a good book because the story drove it forward. I was interested in Yi, the main character's progression and how things are going to play out. I was interested and I wanted to play it out. That's the difference that I think is important to look into. Not being the silent protagonist, being someone who speaks and interacts and has a future, has a past, and there's a point where in Dark Souls, you kind of just like, yeah, it doesn't matter what happens to me after. I'm just kill everybody. In this, he is working to fix something. He wants a future for himself and for the people he thought he was helping, this kind of thing. So I'm not trying to go into spoilers for the story, but the fact that the story is layered in colors of gray rather than black and white make it so that you have to have feelings about things. You have to have an opinion on these things because you're doing them. You're a part of it. If you're playing the character, it's your fault in certain situations. So that's why I enjoyed being Yi. I enjoyed playing out his story and seeing how he redeems himself for himself and for the people around him. The side characters are not as intricate as, say, Hollow Knight, if we're going with another gold standard game, but good enough to have me care about them. Although, don't care too much. So, another spoiler warning, I suppose. But this game is worth your time. The combat is deep enough to, when mastered, feel amazing. The game is beautiful. I liked the hand-drawn aspects. I liked the backgrounds that were a little bit more than you expected sometimes. The bosses looked good. There is a lot here besides just the gameplay for you to enjoy. The lore is good. The look and feel of it, it's just a beautiful game. And even in the parts that I should warn you, there is some disturbing images and things that happen. Like, I think the game is or the company that made some horror games too. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna do very little research into anything that, well, that's not true. I might like it a lot, so don't cut me too short. But I did look into Red Candle Games, the company that made this, and they are Taiwan based, and there is a lot of anti-government corruption. And so if you want to, this game will kind of give, if you kind of keep it in the back of your mind that this is a Taiwanese company, you're gonna start to see some things and you go, oh. So I think that actually adds a little bit to the game, to have a little bit of skin in it in terms of what's going on, and to be able to express yourself. That's a lot of the reason why art exists, is to be able to transmute the feelings you have around what you're doing and feeling and seeing. So I think if you wanted to feel a game, this is a good game to really get a feel for. This is something you will tell. I know that sounds weird, but you can and will pick up on these feelings, because I had no idea about it until after I was finished. And then once I had the words to put to my feelings, it made sense. I was like, oh yeah, that and even the littlest side characters start to make a lot more sense. So with that in mind, play the game, enjoy it the way you want to. Certain parts, the skill expression that has to be the level of skill that you have to ascend to towards the end of the game can be a turnoff, but I think it's well within anyone who's taken these Souls-like Metroidvanias to heart. You can figure this game out. I have no doubt about it. So check it out. In my opinion, one of the better games that I'll bring up. If I were to recommend Metroidvania type games, this is like its own type, like, because it's different from Hollow Knight, because it is like Sekiro. Sekiro is the parry version of these Dark Souls games. Nine Souls is the parry version of these Metroidvania games, and the parry system is difficult but masterable. So if you want to have some fun in a different way, I think this is a game. And if you have the Game Pass especially, this is a no-brainer. So enjoy it or don't. I don't care.